Hey everybody, my name is Ellis Jones. I'm a professor of sociology, and you are probably watching this because of this little guy here. You've got one of these, and you're wondering, what the heck do I do with it? Well, a little background. I've been studying and teaching critical thinking for, gosh, maybe 25 years. My main specialty area is actually corporate sustainability and ethical consumerism, but for whatever reason, I can't let go of this idea of critical thinking. So, most of the inspiration for this work comes from a guy named William Perry. He was an Harvard educational theorist, and he was a genius and garbage at the same time. He produced this incredible model that was sort of fundamentally flawed, but I couldn't ever drop it. I had to work with it for the last 25 years, and the result is the 4 stages of critical thinking. So, in this little box, you should find your cards, right? And hopefully you have a little bonus fold out. If you need sort of a place to start, this is a good place, right? There's a sort of simple explanation on the one side of the 4 stages of critical thinking. That's what we're talking about. And then on the other side, more of a detailed chart that you can reference along the way. Anyway, this is kind of the first prototype. So in your deck of cards, you should have a number of things here. There's the instructions, which if you scan the QR code, that's what got you here. You can just toss those out. Since you're watching the video, don't even bother looking at that. There's the little about me, which if you did this QR code, you probably also got me here because I screwed up the QR codes. But here's where you should really start. This right here. The 4 stages of critical thinking. This is the whole thing. It's sort of simple. It's sort of complicated. Think about 4 stages of critical thinking essentially like Amazon star ratings. So 1 star is not so good. 2 stars is better than 1 star for sure. 3 stars is pretty solid at this point, and 4 stars is sort of where you want to be, right? On Amazon, when you're buying things, you want to sort of be in that 4-star range if you really want to get something. Anyway, same with critical thinking. These are different ways of looking at the world. And what we want is we want to improve our ways of thinking to sort of be able to evolve and move forward around all kinds of subjects. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Technically, there's also a stage 0. That's just ignorance. So if you said to somebody, hey, what do you think about the war in Ukraine? And they said, there's a war in Ukraine? That's stage 0. It means they have no idea what's going on, and so they can't talk about the problem. Like, where do you stand on the death penalty? We have a death penalty? That kind of thing. That's stage 0. So stage 1 otherwise is sort of the first stage of critical thinking. And then we move up to 2, 3, and 4. Now these stages are essentially progressive. So, they should go up and you improve as you move up in your critical thinking around something. But they're not necessarily linear. You can bounce back and forth. And the other important thing to remember is people are not stages. It's important to explore the strengths and weaknesses of every stage because all of us contain tidbits of all 4 of these stages. And in some areas, we've really thought through issues and we're really engaged and very critical and creative and so forth. And in other areas, we got a lot of work to do. All right, so what's in the box? Well, you should have these cards here, right? The 4 stages. Stage 1, dualism, is always red. Those are all the red cards. Stage 2 is relativism. Those are all the orange cards. Stage 3 is analysis. That's all the yellow cards. And stage 4 is commitment. That's all the green cards. So these are the 4 stages, and you probably want to get familiar with the stages. A good way to do that is just sort of compare things, like use advantages and disadvantages. So each stage has certain advantages and certain disadvantages. Right, here's a disadvantages card, and you can sort of compare across each one to see like, oh, those disadvantages are different for each stage. And that's sort of why when we start to talk about, well, why do people stay in stage 1? Why don't they ever move away from thinking past what the authority figure says or thinking past what they traditionally have always been brought up believing, right? There's just so many advantages to being in that stage that it's hard to leave that stage. Once you have acquired a particular stage and are in a kind of pattern of thinking and saying and doing certain things, it becomes difficult to shift out of it. So what you can do is, you can take a question and you can just start drawing cards from a particular stage. So for example, I could take a question about, I don't know, politics and the election, and I could just start to go through each of the cards in the stage of dualism to think, okay, do I know people that are thinking in these ways? Can I have some examples in the news? Can I name people in the news that do this? Can I think about sources of media or friends and family that are doing this, etc.? And then do I know other people, for example, that are in the stage 2, where they're just feeling like everything's sort of subjective and relative, and it just sort of matters what your opinion is, sort of what flavor of ice cream you like is your political choices, right? And then, do I know people who are sort of engaged intellectually in trying to work out, well, what's our best option, sort of intellectually speaking, where is the data showing us where we should be headed, whatever the political issue is at the time. And then in stage 4, right, you can start to think about, well, how can I commit to a particular position, because I think it's the best one after having done a bunch of my homework, while at the same time recognizing it has flaws, it has weaknesses. I can name those, I have those at my fingertips, and yet I still commit to the position and take action. So take a look at the cards. Familiarize yourself with the stages. And please feel free to ask questions, contact me over email, write comments on the YouTube channel, and I will respond. And we'll try to make this better.